potent source of story chills. And, well, they have now grown large enough to drain a human body of its blood in just one zip. And they enjoy feasting on human flesh, essentially in defiance of biological structure. They are now deadly symbolic insects. Now them. Let's get to them. One of the truly great films of this radioactive sci-fi 1950s cycle. Now, this is essentially the first big bug radiation monster movie. It's produced by Warner Brothers, and it's directed by Gordon Douglas. Now, Them starts as a film noirish detective story / suspense film, then slowly develops into a science fiction horror tale of radiation-enlarged ants. Now, the premise, essentially, is that common insects mutate generation by generation to a large size and add human beings to their diet. Ordinary creatures mutated as a result of radiation. This is a cinematic extension of seminal beliefs in atomic energy. The film has a basic seek and destroy storyline, and it's a quasi-documentary style. It builds suspense with the use of sound effects. The giant ants are heard on occasion and are not seen at all until a third of the way into the movie. There's many effective human touches in the script, with the focus more on character reactions to this deadly situation than on the radioactive giant ants themselves. The real point of Them is the audience's fear of the atomic age. The menace of the giant ants is linked directly to the unchecked woe of nuclear weapons. A routine police investigation of peculiar incidents in the New Mexico desert unearths the surprising fact that ants have been affected by the atomic bomb tests and have grown to a giant size. This is an expression of Cold War neurosis par excellence. A new radioactive species of mega ants. Now, there's a great cast in this film. You have Edmund Gwenn, James Whitmore, James Arness, Joan Weldon. In bit parts, you have Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock, in a small role. You have the great Dub Taylor. You have Fess Parker, who would later become Davy Crockett, and Daniel Boone. He's very, very memorable in a bit part as a Texas mental patient. Now, the giant ants, their nest is located in the desert and destroyed, but two queen ants escape and lay their eggs in a storm drain beneath Los Angeles. Now, L.A., of course, is the setting for the final battle between the humans and the giant ants. Them is extremely well made. This is a really good movie, and handles its absurd subject matter in a way that makes the movie stand out from most of the cheaper and sensational variations that would soon follow. The giant ants in the movie were full-scale mock-up puppets, not animated miniatures. The director, Gordon Douglas, is skillful enough to sidestep the he sidesteps the special effects and makes frightening figures out of these ants. The scare sequences take place in areas of low visibility. For example, the desert during a sandstorm, the underground nest of the ants, and the L.A. storm drains. This is a well-mounted production, not a Formula B picture. Now, several aspects of the movie Them have now become a cliche. The scientist heroine that constantly argues with the macho hero, and the pair eventually fall in love. And there's a very, very imitated sequence in the film, the mobilization of the entire U.S. Armed Forces against the monsters. This was taken directly from The Beast from 20,000 Phantoms, a film that we talked about in our first program on the sci-fi radioactive 50s. Now, The climax of the film is an exciting battle underneath Los Angeles that essentially saves the human race. The scientist in the film, Edmund Gwen, warns the audience that as long as nuclear weapons are tested, humanity will have to take responsibility for its side effects. Now, the giant ants were constructed and operated by technicians. They were purplish green in color. There's a brief shot during the climax of the film. An ant is moving in the foreground with its side panel removed. Its mechanical interior is clearly visible. You would have to get the old video, VHS copy, to see this, because the DVD, it's been filtered out. But you do see it on the original VHS of them. This film was originally conceived in 3D, and it was planned in Color. And there were many test shots made, but the large-scale model ants looked unconvincing in color and in 3D. The 3D setups remained in the film. For example, flamethrowers and machine guns are aimed directly at the audience and the camera. Now, this top-notch radioactive sci-fi thriller was one of the biggest box office hits of 1954 and created an ensuing barrage of cinematic mutated creatures, an entire subgenre of fearsome insect monsters. All right, let's get to Tarantula, 1955.